Alright, so the last time I streamed this game was at Fragapalooza, which was actually a few weeks ago now. It has been a little bit of a hot second here. I did want to finish this off very shortly after Fragapalooza, but then I ended up getting like pretty busy with other stuff going on, so I kind of haven't gotten the chance. But I was like, hey, I have some time today, let's go ahead and do that. I have a few hours right now. It's currently 4 p.m. At about 8 p.m., I need to go and pick up my grandma's prescription because apparently the pharmacy's only going to have it ready at like 8 p.m. or later for some reason, which is very odd. And it's like, oh, there's only the final map left in this, plus like some rapport conversation stuff. I can like wedge that in and get it done. Let's do that now, and then like I'll go out and do that, and then late tonight do some late night chillin', making progress in something that I have more stuff left to do. I mean, there's apparently a decent bit of stuff still left to do because there is a little bit of post-game content, but all of these are just different places to start the final battle. There's one map left, and then it's beaten, and then maybe some post-game stuff. So we did the rest of the liberation battles at Fragapalooza. That's all done now, leaving just the final map. I have like my final builds prepared and set up. And the last major thing that needs to be done in this game, apparently if you want the true ending, you have to get hitched. Because the only way to unlock the power, like the true power of the Ring of the Unicorn here, which is currently just max HP plus 5, guard rate plus 10%, it is to get hitched, or else it's not really gonna do anything. I gotta give someone the Ring and the Maiden, and then both these become like all stats plus 5, and I think this one gives an extra AP and this one gives an extra passive point, I think, in addition to all stats plus 5. And I wasn't entirely sure who I was going to give the Ring of the Maiden to. Like, it is a very good item. So in terms of rapport, before even Fragapalooza happened, I just maxed out like all of Elaine's supports where he could get conversations. Like, so I got all his conversations unlocked. I only maxed him out with like characters that I'd potentially be giving the Ring of the Maiden to, and the main two ones that I was thinking about giving it to was either Berengaria or Rosalind. Hold on, if I go to character list, because it is an extremely strong item, and so I want to give it to an extremely strong character. Yeah, both of them could benefit from an extra PP. I think when I initially set up my final builds and assign people stuff, I think I had it in the back of my mind for which the two were gonna get it, and I genuinely don't remember which one it was. Because I mean, they would both benefit from it. Both of them already have a all stats plus 5 weapon. Berengaria might benefit from it a little bit more just because I have her on the front line, so she'd be able to benefit from the extra physical defense, magic defense, and evasion that someone on the back row isn't really gonna be caring as much about since they're not gonna be receiving as many hits. Rosalind would be able to make use of both the physical attack and magic attack boost as opposed to just the physical attack boost. I just have a medallion on both of them right now. And you have more accessory slots to play with. You have a great shield slot that's being taken up, so I only have like 2 slots to work with here for other accessories, whereas you have 3. So I actually don't know. I figured we could do like some rapport conversations first. Maybe I'll just give it to whoever has like the better rapport conversation or something. Some of these other ones I would still like to see the end of, like this final one with Lex. I don't think I'm gonna go through every support conversation or else it's gonna be like this entire stream. So yeah, but I figured I'd go through some of the main ones here and then give the Ring of the Main to somebody and then beat the game, and that's this stream. That's my thought process here. Here's the place. Where have you brought me, Lex? I remember Cape, a dog we used to play with when we were kids. This is her grave. As if I could ever forget her. She was a sweet girl, who loved us just as much as we did her, possibly far more so. The 3 of us used to have so much fun running across the island together. Yet then, as quickly as she come into our lives, she was gone. You never told me what happened that day, only that you had buried her and nothing more. Tell me now, Lex. As long as you're sure that's what you want. You and Joseph were off training somewhere, so it was just me and her taking a walk over in town. That's when we got jumped by a bandit. What? Next thing I knew, Cape was biting at the guy's legs, trying to give me a chance to get away. There's only so much a dog can do against a monster with a knife. Sorry I didn't tell you, Elaine. I knew it was coming, but I was just too much of a damn coward to do anything about it. Around then that you began to focus more on your training, wasn't it? Thanks to Cape, yeah. She's the one who showed me what real bravery looked like. And for you, if it comes down to it, I'm ready to do the same thing she did. Do you truly think that's what she would have wanted? For her own death to inspire another? Well, I'll not stand for it. Never again shall I stand and watch while a dear friend casts their life away. I almost forgot. I brought some of Cape's favorite snacks to lay on her grave. Thanks for everything, old girl. That one was sad. I just wanted to start going through the rapport conversations. I wasn't expecting to be immediately hit in the feels. Also, this game feels kind of like Fire Emblem Fates in the sense that some of the best storytelling elements are in the support conversations, or rapport conversations as they're called in this game. It's very much what it feels like some of the time. What's this? It's mine now. Wink. I'll take that. I'll take this too, I guess. Sure. So yeah, I'm not gonna go through everything, but I would like to go through a decent few of some that I just want to see how they end. Honestly. Are we dancing? Yes, that's perfect, Your Majesty. Like, it's hard to tell with just, like, the little... I don't know if I want to call them sprites. Like, sprite is technically the correct term, but I say sprite and I imagine something pixelated, even though these are, yes, technically sprites. I feel as though I might stumble at any moment. Ow. With me, Chloe. Are you okay? Fine, thank you. I have to wonder, is learning to dance truly a necessary part of being a noble? It's strange hearing you complain about it. I always thought you were good at these kinds of things. If only. I've never been particularly proud of my dexterity. In fact, I was so clumsy with a blade at first, Joseph nearly put a stop to our lessons entirely. You? Clumsy? But praising your skill is practically all that Sir Joseph does. Now, perhaps. Such ability only came through day upon day of tireless training. Lucky, I had Lex and Scarlet there to support me even after the most minor of missteps. And you, Chloe. Am I truly as important to him as they are? What was that? Oh, nothing. Speaking of Scarlet, she recently asked me to teach her how to cook. And did you? Of course, she works hard, you know. Oh, I can't say she's especially good at it. Still, it was obvious why she was pushing herself through it. Makes someone she cares a lot about happy. Frankly, it was frustrating to think I'd never do the same. Anyway, it's not like me to get upset like this. I'll see you later, Your Majesty. Wait. You could see what I see, Chloe. Perhaps then you would realize just how much you do for us. But yeah, and hello, is there Samara and CJ? Yeah, sorta. So, I have beaten the game once before, just on like the easy story mode to unlock the hardest difficulty that my main file is now on. And this is a game where if you want the true ending, apparently you have to get hitched. So I literally do have to get hitched, considering if I look at my character here. This item that isn't very good right now, max HP plus 5, guard rate plus 10%, gets really, really good and unlocks its true power, and it's like a super important story item if I just give the Ring of the Maiden to someone and get hitched. So apparently even if I go and beat the final boss up right now, I, from what I hear, wouldn't get the true ending. And I need to get hitched to someone. So I'm finishing off like some support conversations with people. And right now I'm not sure who I'm giving it to between two main characters. I want to give it to someone with a unique class, so someone that like is really good and will benefit from like the extra stats and stuff that the item will give. Right now I'm torn between Rosalind or Berengaria. Berengaria is a frontliner, so she would benefit from these items will give all stats plus 5, so everything gets boosted when you give this item. And it would help on the frontliner who's both attacking and defending, rather than being someone in the back that isn't going to use those defensive stats as much like Rosalind is. But she has more accessory slots that I can play with. I have 3 accessory slots of wiggle room, whereas Berengaria has 2 here. And she also hits with both physical and magical attacks, so would be able to benefit from both of those. So I'm not entirely sure. So I'm just going through a bunch of rapport conversations here that I want to finish off anyway and see how they end. And between those two, I'll probably just like I don't know, decide on which one has the better rapport conversation or something. I don't know. Or just randomly decide, I actually changed my mind. It's gotta be someone completely different. I don't know. I didn't really go into this with much of a plan. But yeah, I go by Christy now, by the way. Don't know if you mentioned that here before. Okay, gotcha. Christy it is. Hope it's going well today. Hope you're getting that water that was mentioned just a second ago. So yeah, we're just chatting with a whole bunch of people and then deciding who to give this ring to. It could be anyone. On Zenoiran's invasion of the province, our defeat was sadly all but certain. Before long, the nobles of our land bent the knee to Galerius, one after the next, to ensure their houses would live on. But it makes me think about triangle strategy there. Yet, the Ashen Blue refused to yield. My father, my family, my retainers all stood firm against the Zenoiran onset, and all of them perished in the process. I have faith their sacrifice was not in vain. It simply can't have been. But every time I think back on the events of those days, I wonder what my father's resistance truly brought. If only he had surrendered like all the rest, accepted his place amongst Zenoiran's ranks. Perhaps my sister and mother might yet. Painful thought, indeed. Some have even mocked his memory, blaming him little more than a fool who mistakenly thought he was a hero. What other option did he have? To merely lie down and beg for his life the moment he saw that victory was beyond him? Or not? Such actions are the mark of a coward, not a leader. As you say, Clive, the sacrifice was not in vain. Indeed, it was the very impetus which has since seen you take up his battle. Battle that rages on, even now. And were we not here to fight it, Cornea would surely be lost to Galerius for the rest of time. We must never forget that, no matter what. Thank you for saying so, Your Highness. Under Zenoiran's rule, the wicked intent of our noble houses has been made plain for all to see. Even should we defeat Galerius, I imagine it will be difficult to return to the days of innocence which came before. All this time, I've thought only of restoring Cornea to my family's rule. Yet I have no knowledge of what the kingdom I fight for even used to look like. Not its history and its pain. As a child, the thing I could have wanted was housed within our castle walls. I never considered what suffering lay beyond, nor did I need to, for that matter. My very existence was that of ignorance, blind to the fundamental truths of the world in which I lived. It began to change, of course, during my years on Palavia. Yet in that time, Cornea was reduced to an ideal in my mind, the name of a place I once knew, nothing more. I fully intend to avenge my mother, to lay waste to Zenoira for what they've done to this continent. And speaking of, I'm pretty sure we found out during the bad ending that Galerius is basically using his mother here as his host body, or whatever. After all that time, I fear I have no attachment to the home I've lost. I had truly the right to be king of such a home, for a reason as seemingly insignificant as the family I was born to. And thinking about that, is there a way to save Elaine's mother then? It's thoughts such as these that instill in me the same doubts which likely once plagued my grandfather. If I might interject, Your Highness, that profound uncertainty is precisely why you deserve to rule. Summon the winds of change across Cornea's fields, just as King Gerard did before you. I understand your worries, truly I do, yet I assure you they are wholly unnecessary. And I, for one, am eager to see what manner of kingdom you create in the decades to come. You have my thanks, Clive. To hear those words grants me strength beyond my greatest belief, and I shall do whatever I must to honor their conviction. Yeah, maybe I should finish off the support conversation with all of, like, the main crew that are already friends with Elaine and stuff. And hello, Snow Penguin. How's it go? How's it going? Yes, that's how words work. Drinking plenty because I'm in that weird tired state where cold water is the most refreshing thing in the world. Oh, that's just like me always. I used to drink more, like, I've always ever just drank in juice, milk, and water. Those are like the only three things that I drink. I don't think I've ever had a pop, actually. I have had some carbonated juices sometimes, but like only if I'm really, really thirsty, because I'm not a big fan of carbonation. I'm also just now noticing why I'm at 99%. Oh, because this is the last 1%. Is gotta be why I'm at 99% traversal. But growing up as a kid, I used to drink more juice than I did water, because I just wasn't the biggest fan of water then, because I was a kid and I was like, oh, juice, it's so sweet and sugary. Whereas now, I drink almost completely water, and I'll drink juice like every once in a while. I I still like it, but if I drink quite a bit of juice for a little while, then it leaves like a weird kind of aftertaste, a weird kind of sugary aftertaste in my mouth now that I cannot get rid of until I drink water, and I don't like the feeling of it in my mouth. So, like, I'm always good with water. If I get juice from time to time, then great. But that's the way that I am now. So it kind of switched around from when I was a kid drinking mostly juice and secondarily water, whereas now it's drinking almost completely water and then from time to time juice. And then once in a blue moon, like milk if I really want that, or I'm having a bowl of cereal or something like that. Yeah, like a lot of people really like carbonation, but it's just never been for me. Why do I keep opening that thinking that it's this? My goodness, I'm trying to find my rapport menu. Should I go all the way through with Hodrick? I may as well as one of the main cast here. Let's see what Joseph has to say. I rather like the first rapport conversation with him. So let's see what the following ones are like. Sure. Let's see here. Having trouble sleeping, Joseph? Ah, good evening, Your Highness. I was merely recalling the last time I set foot in these lands, on a voyage of duty at Queen Elenia's side. What reason did you and my mother have for visiting Elheim? If you wouldn't mind sharing the tale with me, that is. It must have been 20 years past by now. I had received word that a pack of Bestrels were seen crossing the border in southern Cornia. Evidently, they hailed from this very region. Yet at the time, passage to and from Bestorius to our north was altogether barred. So as you can surely imagine, few in Cornia had ever laid eyes on a Bestrel before that day. How did they arrive in Elheim, exactly? And for what purpose were they advancing into our territory? That was what we had hoped to learn ourselves, and sent the lord of the region, Ryman, to capture the errant Bestrels. Foul sorcerer who betrayed our nation. Shortly after, an envoy of soldiers crossed the border from Elheim and demanded we hand over any Bestrels we were able to capture, and of course, to alert them to the presence of any further that we discovered. Ryman acted rather severely upon hearing this, and claimed it not but pretext for the elven nation to invade our own. Hardly think of a single reason why they want to do such a thing. What I understand, the bounties of Elheim are equally as rich as those of Cornia, if not more so. They have little economic hardship due to their lengthened lifespans and slower population growth. Right you are, Your Highness. Queen Elenia argued those very points herself. But there can be no discounting the inordinate fear which people have for the unknown. This particular region of Elheim is home to a great many half-elves, while the pure-blooded tend to be far and few between. I switched around those words for some reason. In other words, it is a place of refuge for the undesirable parts of elven society. Yet rather than sympathize with the plight of the downtrodden, Cornia was rampant with baseless rumors and slander. Chief among them claimed that the elves had employed a wicked magic to transform humans into bestial warriors. Warriors who they kept hidden in this territory with the intent of launching an eventual attack. Sensing the danger in such spiteful sentiments, Queen Elenia requested an audience with the then Turanos of Elheim. Thus, it was decided they would meet here, in a province known for its relative independence, and that I was to accompany Her Majesty in a vital role as her personal guard. Were you able to reach a resolution? In the end, yes. Both nations agreed to only patrol their respective sides of the border in search of Bestrels. Those Bestrels would then be delivered safely back to Bestorius, as stated in terms negotiated with their king. It was upon the fulfillment of that agreement that this cautionary tale met its conclusion. I hadn't realized these lands held such history. Her Majesty's political sense was truly a joy to witness, while all who doubted her could only look on in stunned silence. I've every faith that such skill lives on within you as well. I pray you're right, and thank you, Joseph, for sharing this story with me. Yeah, one of those games where a whole lot of the world building comes from the support conversations, which there's nothing wrong with. Yeah, report conversation available because we have the next one. Let's go see it. I want to have a look-see here at, is it this? Yes. Too bad I'm allergic to finishing off these support conversations. I know they're called rapport conversations, but I always have Fire Emblem on the mind. It occurs to me, Joseph, that I never be standing here now without your tireless support. This game is definitely not perfectly translated, I will also say. Not at all, Your Highness. In fact, I believe it is your kindness which has drawn such a wealth of strength to our army. I beg to differ. Not sure you remember this, but... Oh, flashback time! That shall be enough training for the day, my prince. Am I getting stronger now? Not yet, no. True power demands years of daily practice, while our work has only continued for mere months. Understood. Hey, look at that flower. Wish my mom was here to see it. She loved flowers. Indeed she did. I'm certain the sight would bring her great joy. Oops. Something the matter? I'm sorry, Joseph. Or what, exactly? I'm not supposed to think about my mom anymore. Why would you believe such a thing? Well, he's gone, right? Nothing I do is ever going to bring her back. Well, unless it does if we defeat Galerius and save her, considering the bad ending showed us that apparently she's his host body right now. Forgive me for saying so, but you are gravenly mistaken. You've no need to forget her memory, or to stop speaking of her. Really? The only thing you mustn't do is let yourself be held captive by your grief. But remembering her is what makes me sad. It's a natural thing, for the time being. Yet those memories, as I adjust my microphone here, shall be the very thing that drives you forth in life. Treasure them, as you treasured your mother herself. And pray, never forget that I shall always stand beside you in your times of need. Okay? Suppose I had forgotten about that, yes. I may not be your son, but you raised me as a father all the same. In a sense, it's almost as though I stole your life from you. Do not think such falsehoods, Your Highness. I am the blade of the royal family, sworn to serve your lineage for the remainder of my days, as I always have, ever since I was first appointed Knight's Captain. Have my thanks, Joseph, showing me such warmth of heart all these years. It is an honor to have watched you grow into the fine young man you are today. A task which I shall gratefully continue for as long as I have left on this earth. Thanks, Yagan. Honors times 2. That I'm not gonna use. I keep pressing the wrong buttons. I swear, menu buttons in this game. Let's see here. Also, for what's your face? Scarlet, right there. Yeah, we may as well finish that off because she's one of the main characters. Why is she not like one of the topmost ones here? Considering in the character list, she's like the immediate one after Elaine. She's here. I guess it's like recruit order here, even though we technically had her, like, this is sort by order joined. And even though she was gone for a decent bit after like the first couple maps, it still counts her as like the immediate unit that I got after Elaine, considering the very beginning of the game. So she's here in this list, followed by Lex, Joseph, yada yada. And then the rapport conversations are like, oh, and Joseph is down here after Hodrick and Clive. How does it choose the order here? That's so weird. I'm so confused. Yeah, let's just do it for like the main people connected to the royal family here and our main dudos. It's a fine evening, Your Highness. It is indeed. A kind of peaceful atmosphere which calls to mind memories of my childhood. Remember the day you lifted me upon your shoulders to let me see above the castle balcony? I'd not soon forget it. I can almost picture it now, gazing out at the endless lights which lay tranquil in the city below. As can I. Of course, I was still but a young man at the time. I took quite a scolding from Sir Joseph for exposing you to such danger. Yet, dangerous as it was, I can think of few moments more filled with joy. I often prayed that I would one day stand as tall as you, that I would bear the strength to support another, just as you did for me. It's a prayer I continue to offer the heavens, even now. I've done nothing to deserve such kind words, Your Highness. Yet I feel the same. Those moments we spent together are truly invaluable. And I'm certain Queen Elenia will be pleased to see the fine man you've become in the time since. I hope you're right. Okay, that one was a shorter one. Let's see here. But the other ones... Let's see here. Yeah, report conversation available. And this one is right... Oh, let's not get fat shamed there. Over here. I must say, never expected to look upon Pritzlas from within Drakenhold's borders. What I understand, the fort is considered to be nigh impregnable. Tell me, did you ever mount an attack on its ramparts while my mother ruled as queen? Hers was not a reign marked by invasions or offensives, your highness. Yet, as this stronghold stands betwixt Cornia and Drakenhold proper, the territory surrounding it has been long disputed. Such was the case 15 years ago as well, the day that Hodel sought to storm it. Oh, another flashback time. I don't remember who Hodel is. Was he a character that I faced at some point in the game? Or was he mentioned? I don't even remember. Like, I've been playing this game on and off since March of this year. I've literally grown a beard during the course of this playthrough. So, I mean, it has been a long time, to be fair. And this is one of the few 100+ part series on the channel. It's been a while. Stand down, Hodrick. Drakenhold means to provoke us with all these damned raids out of Pritzlass, and provoke us they. But I, for one, don't intend to let them get away with it. You shall be playing into their hand. Hope you wouldn't think to cast your men's lives aside so callously. Her Majesty is shrewd indeed. She should have sent more than a simple knight to stop me. There's nothing you can do to change my mind. Listen carefully. The only nation which stands to gain from this conflict is Drakenhold, not our own. And it is more than simply Queen Elenia who believes such an assertion to be true. General Valmore himself labors to make peace with our neighbors as we speak. What? As it seems, little choice but to verify the truth of that claim myself. In the end, I was able to put a stop to Hodel's mindless scheme. I hope you've come to understand, your highness. Our relationship with Drakenhold has long proven a perilous one, no matter the present circumstance. Yet it's clear to me you think in much the same way your mother once did. And for my part, not the slightest doubt you shall see Cornia's bond with her neighbors strengthened beyond. Thanks for saying so, Hodrick. Through the course of this war, nations have fought as one. Despite disparate? I don't know what that word is. Like, it looks slightly familiar to me, like I might have heard it before, but I'm not entirely sure. Like, unless it's just a typo for desperate. Like, which it could well be. Banded together in the face of a common evil. I only pray we may do the same upon its conclusion, that all of Fevrith may enjoy a shared peace. I'm sure we totally will. Most definitely here. We're gonna get the game beaten. It's gonna be amazing. Just you wait. There's gonna be such peace. It's gonna be awesome. Night air is bitter indeed, your highness. Please, return to the warmth of town. With me to the warmth of town. Hodrick? What is it, my liege? I know I shouldn't speak of such things, but at times I find myself stricken with worry. Fear of what horrors might transpire, should I ultimately fail in my campaign against Galerius. In that case, allow me to share with you a tale of my own failure. Long ago, a few fellow soldiers and I shared in a drinking contest to determine which of us could best hold our liquor. No matter how many flagons of mead crossed our table, none of us three would yield even an inch. Who won, in the end? None of us. One fell down the stairs of the tavern, his face pouring forth a river of blood. Another found the sight so utterly amusing, he wet his trousers amidst unbridled laughter. The third lost command of his faculties entirely, woke in the morning naked in a nearby I have no idea what that word is either. Was deemed a draw, as you might expect. Terrible evening. Wait, which one of the three was he? Was. It's not as terrible as the scolding from Sir Joseph which awaited us the next day. Forgive me, I don't mean to make light of your suffering. Yet I fear I can't help myself. How I wish to have been a modest moth on that tavern wall. This was fortunately all before you were born, of course. To be honest, it's difficult to even imagine a time when you stood an unruly youth like any other. Not like any other, your highness. I must admit, I was the worst of them all. Thank you, Hodrick, for choosing to share this story with me. It is an honor you would merely see fit to listen. I may not be able to lift the burdens from your shoulders, but I shall stand ever at your side when they grow too heavy to bear alone. I have no doubt you shall. Though I can't help but wonder, which of the three men were you, Hodrick? I would very much prefer to leave that to your imagination. Now that I think about it, Never have heard how you acquired that scar on your face. Nor shall you. Let's head to bed, Your Highness.